facing head-on the emotions beneath the surface as we bridge from an old world of confusion and lack to a beautiful new world of freedom, abundance, and love with straightforward truth and inspired hope is what you'll find on The Charla Anderson Show. Collector and connector of fascinating people. And everyone is fascinating. Here's your host, Charla Anderson.
Well, good, beautiful day, beautiful, beautiful souls. This is Charla Anderson, host of the Charla Anderson Show, collector and connector of fascinating people. And everyone is fascinating, especially you. We're live here on Win-Win Women on the networks and all over the streaming services. It'll be out on Modalities, podcasts all over the place pretty soon. And I've got an amazing guest today, and I can't wait to introduce you to Karina Cury. And before that, we're going to do a little mini vacation, a little meditation to just get ourselves settled and centered. And if you have something like a rock or a crystal or something you can hold and just be centering and take 22 seconds. We're going to breathe in 7 seconds of calm. We're going to hold for 4 seconds, and we're going to breathe out gratitude. And I think we'll all feel better right after that. So here we go. Let's breathe in for 7. Hold. Release. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, here we are. Here's, this is Christmas week. It's hard for me to believe that. I'm just not ready. Having a big book launch and a birthday, a 70th birthday a couple weeks ago, just kind of put me off kilter. And here we are, the 20th of December. Unbelievable for me that we're that close to next year. So we're winding down this year. We're gearing up for next year. And who knows? I feel like it's the best year ever. I think it's going to be even better than this year, which is pretty good. Excited to be here. And I'm excited to have Karina Cury here. She is a book author that I met through Beyond Publishing with Michael Butler. And she's got an amazing book called Awakening, a guide from medication to meditation, and has healed herself in so many ways. And our messages are so similar and our mindsets are so similar. So Karina, all the things you do, I just pulled the word multifaceted from the air, and I wanted to just introduce you and let you introduce yourself actually, and just say a little bit about, you're not from this country. There's so many things that I want to know about you, and I think that you have to offer. So who are you in this world? And then we'll talk about what you do.
Okay, so first of all, I am the universe in action. I don't like to put on these identities, right, that we put on ourselves, mother, author, all these things. So ultimately, I am this divine soul living a human experience. I'm a particle of God here, just like you. I'm you and you are me, Charla. We're all one. So that's what we are. And that mentality taught me how to have compassion towards other humans, because we're all here, we all have a history, we all have our journey, and we're all trying to do the best we can. I wear a lot of hats. I'm a mother of 2 college children. I came from Brazil when I was 18 years old. I wanted to be a horse trainer, and I'm crazy about horses. And that dream did not pan out. The universe had other plans for me, but I became a mother who changed my life. I think anybody that is a mother understand that feeling of creating another life, right? It's the most amazing journey. And now that my children are, so I went through a divorce, and that had sent me down a very deep, dark place. I know it's due to all the limited beliefs I had from childhood, my hurt inner child, I had codependency issues. I had all kinds of, problems because I didn't know what I know now. I was not facing those traumas. I was not healing. And so my friends were all worried about me, and because I was just not right. And so they were like, okay, you got to do something about this. You can't live like this. Because I was basically barely surviving. So I saw a friend of mine was married to a doctor who knew a psychiatrist. I went, and I don't know if anybody here, Joe, and I'm not saying doctors are not good. I'm not saying that at all. I am sure there's lots of doctors out there that are actual healers. But, I think that's what medicine's moving away from. I mean, a lot of doctors they forgot that their uh, main job is to heal people, not mask the issues. And that's what medication does, right? So for 10 years, I was in this cocktail of medication, because they get you in one medication, and then that medication has side effects. So you take that full dose of antidepressants or SSRIs, now you can't sleep. So now they put you on another antidepressant that makes you sleep at night. So now you're taking the highest dose of that. Well, now you're having gut issues because all the medication messes up with your gut biome. So now you're taking gut medication. And it just goes on. By the time I was done, I was taking like 5 different medications. And so I met a holistic life coach when my mom passed away, and she was my rock. And so she guided me through a holistic life style, spiritual awakening, and really stop using crutches. I had to learn to stop using crutches, because all those are crutches. We don't want to feel the pain, so we use crutches. And to heal, you have to feel, right? You have to look those issues in the face and find a way to release them. So I had to learn to stop using crutches. And so that's why I call it the journey from medication to meditation. And I did that through holistic living, meditation, mindfulness. I read about a book a week. And then I went to a spiritual retreat, and I had this download that I needed to share my story to empower people who are going through the same. Because we all know a lot of people that go through things in life, and of course, looking from the outside, since I've been through, I feel like I have the solution. But people are in their own journey, and they have to find the solution when they're ready. So I thought, okay, maybe I'll write a book and put out there, and people were ready, and they'll find the message, and hopefully it will empower them. So I started writing. It took about a year. English is my second language, and writing, it was never my forte, but it was also a very empowering releasing of limiting beliefs, because due to these childhood issues I used to think that I was not smart. So for me to be able to write that book and feel like, yes, I am smart, I can write a book, it was very empowering. So it was empowering in so many ways. And that's what I'm hoping, that the book finds people who needs to hear the message, and helps them to know that there's so many ways out of this.
And often action, just taking a step. So I listened to, I believe it was Jordan Peterson, who's pretty remarkable, but he said something about the more that you focus on yourself, the more misery you have. And
Mhm.
so, and that's loosely how, not how he said it, but if we focus outward, we can begin to heal and quit focusing on what's wrong, and start focusing on what's right and what's good and how we can make a difference to the next person. It shifts a whole lot of things. You said something about limiting beliefs, and you're a 20-something year flight attendant, right? And
26 years.
and 26.
I've been flying for 26 years. Yeah.
Okay, wow. And I flew for 34. It's an incredible career. Those people were my mission field, right? I just love them. And that's back in the day when we really served meals and all that stuff. But I love that career was amazing for me. But a few years ago I was in a meeting or a class And at lunch, the leader of the came to me and goes, I've heard you say at least 5 times. I, oh, I was just a flight attendant.
Huh.
And he said, don't ever say that again. And I was like, I mean, we think I didn't have a degree. So I was just a flight attendant. And then I started changing that word to, well, because I was an award-winning flight attendant, carried the Olympic torch for Delta Airlines, and coordinator international, and could get you out of a plane in 90 seconds or less, and raising 3 kids and commuting and working max hours, and the mission trip mom, and all the things, because I was a flight attendant, I can do anything. And
Yes.
I mean, it was such a wake up call for me. And so when you said we didn't feel smart, you didn't feel smart. You had you didn't have English as your first language, which means you're very smart, because English is a really hard language to learn. And Spanish is much easier. And you speak Portuguese, right? Which is from
Correct.
Brazil. Can I
Yeah.
ask you this? You were 18 years old and picked up and left your home country and ended up in Texas because of your love of horses. This came to me because when I moved to Chicago as my first base, they all thought I had horses and oil wells in my yard, right? And I thought they were all mafia or something. I didn't know. It was the perceptions we have from the movies, right? So how did you do that? What was that? Just a quick little synopsis of how did you make the decision to land in Texas from a beautiful country that has lots of horses, Brazil?
Yeah. So because of the mentality with women in Brazil, was really hard to find a job that was very easy to have here in the United States as an apprentice, working for a horse trainer. The horse training business in Brazil are only for like the elite people, for the ones that have a lot of money, because they're really expensive. I mean, yes, they are the second biggest. Uh, they have the second largest number of quarter horses. So Brazil has the second, I think, first being the United States. So they're big in horses, but it's just for a few, and they don't hire, especially women. That when I was growing up, that mentality was very much a male mentality. Even it still continues here in the United States. Is like, I just went to watch the National Cutting Horse Association finals, the futurity in Fort Worth, and there were like I took a girl that never been before, and she's like, there's no women in this group, because it was the professionals. And I said, yeah, there's only 2 or 3 women who make it. It's a very like male mentality. So, but in United States, there were opportunities for women to be apprentices, to start from the bottom. So I had an English teacher, because I always took English is the second language in Brazil. But I had a English teacher, and I told him, I said, I want to, and he used to live in the United States because his dad was American, his mom was Brazilian. So he said, okay, well, I'll help you. So we ordered a bunch of magazines of the National Cutting Horse Association, went through all of the trainers list, and start calling and going, and I said, the no I already have, right? And I started calling all the trainers and said, I'm from Brazil. I want to be an apprentice. I would work for free for, all these things. And one guy said yes. And I remember coming. He didn't know what I would have looked like, because it was before phones and computers, right? He didn't know. It was 95. He didn't know what I looked like. I saw his pictures in the magazine, but with hats and everything. And then the girl that works for him picked me up at the airport, and I remember my name in Portuguese is Karina, and she's saying Karina, and I'm like, I think she's calling me. I'm not sure, but I never heard myself being called Karina, so it was really funny. But I think about it now, Charla, and I was like, when you're younger, I think that you haven't had, your ego hasn't taken over so much yet when you're that age, and your fears are not so, because the ego brings that fear into our lives, right? Always makes us overthink everything that we're about to do, because it wants to keep you safe. Well, I think that back then I was just so young and so fresh that I was like, yeah, whatever. I'm not listening to my ego. You don't listen to anybody when you're 18. So I just kind of went, and a lot of things that I write in my book had happened at the time. My dad went to jail, so he was incarcerated at the time. I was short of 18, and I was able to convince my mom to write me, emancipate me, so I could buy a ticket. And I just saved the money, and my family was like, they're all kind of like, didn't know what to think, like, what, she'll be back. She's gonna go over there. She's gonna be like, she'll be back right away, right? And I wanted to prove them wrong. So even though it was really hard, and I remember crying myself to sleep every night and thinking, what am I doing here? I would not, no, I was like, no, I'm not going back, because I'm going to prove them that I can do this. So it's just that, what is the word I'm trying to, the youth,
Perseverance of
the perseverance of the youth, that I feel like my era had it. It was a little more, it was different back then. Like, thinking about, I have a 19-year-old now. Would I let her move across country to go? No. I would be like, no.
But she would do it if she
I
she
would
was
have to
driven to
respect.
do it.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I would have to respect it,
But you would like, are you kidding?
I know.
So you ended up in the Fort Worth area, because this is the Cutting Horse. I used to know, I know
Yes.
people involved in that as well. And so you also, at what point did you become a flight attendant? Was that after you were here?
So it's funny how the synchronicities of the universe. So I was working for this man in Grandview, Texas. I don't know if you know where that is. It's kind of on the way to Waco. And I met this girl, Vicky. She used to come to ride horses, and she kind of took me her under her wings. And she used to be a flight attendant for America. And I would see her, like, I thought her life was so great, because she would come ride horses for 3 days, and she's like, and then she would give me some money to look after her horse, because she just kind of like paid to have them boarded there, but no training. So she's like, hey, would you just keep an eye on my horse? And we became friends, and and she would tell me about her career. She's like, yeah, I'm going for a 2-day trip. And I'll be like, a 2-day trip? What does that mean? She's like, oh, I'm a flight attendant, and she would explain the schedule and all that stuff. So I thought it was very intriguing. So when, so several things happened, and the horse thing didn't pan out, and I was like, okay, what am I gonna do now? I have no money. Am I going back to Brazil, and let my family go, I told you so, or what am I gonna do? And so Vicky, at the time, she had just got married, and she had built her own training facility. She was training her own horses as a non-professional, and she hired me to come work at her husband's ranch. But it was a part-time, because she didn't have that many horses. So I was, working part-time, but it was not enough to pay the bills. And I said, Vicky, I got to find something to make money. I'm not making it. And she goes, did you think about being a flight attendant? And I said, yeah, but I don't know if I'm qualified, like you. I'm thinking, I have no degree. I didn't finish college, all this stuff. And she's like, yeah, but you're very outgoing. You speak another language. Why don't you just apply and see? And at the time, American had just opened several routes to Brazil. Brazil was booming, and the economy was great here. And they had all these flights from Orlando, several flights from Miami. So they're hiring a lot of Portuguese speakers. And I apply, and they call me within 2 weeks. They wanted me to start training right away. And that's how it happened. It's just, and I kept thinking, oh, I'll do this for a couple of years and go back to college. And the job is so, because you have so many days off. Yes. And you meet so many wonderful people, and you get to help people, which I'm really good at. I love to help. And so I just kind of end up staying. And now 26 years later, I'm here, and I feel like it's my time to serve in a higher level with the flight attendant. So as I just applied to run for the presidency of the national office of the union, because I hope to make a difference.
And I feel like that it takes a really strong person to kind of go against the grain of the union and the, you know, the company. And I loved that Delta didn't have a union, and I felt like we worked for each other instead of us against them, right?
Yeah.
And the ship rises when the tide rises. We all could make it better. And I feel like the unions have a place and have had a place in many cases. And some of them have gotten a little too big for their britches, and don't particularly have the best interest of the workers, unless
Yes.
you're one of the ones on the inside and know the ropes to, you know,
And
get
that's,
around
and
some of that.
yeah, and that's my goal, is to create a good, I want to bring the company and the union on the same page, because if the company realizes that by doing good by the flight attendants, we're going to have longevity and we're going to be able to have happy workers. You know, Richard Branson says, treat your employees like they matter, and they will. You know, so I want the flight attendants to feel heard and seen and respected, because they don't feel like that anymore, and the company feels like they have to create the vision to that's what the union's telling us right now. Actually, deeply, I don't believe that. I believe the company is looking at the bottom line, but if we bring them to understand that by taking care of us, it will be much better for them in the
Look for the
future.
win-win, a
Yes.
win-win-win.
Yeah.
And my sister just turned 80, and she had she was my guest a couple weeks ago. So fun. But she just never had a lawsuit in her real estate business, which was huge, and that's unheard of in a way, because she always would go, okay, how can we find a way through this, and she says, build a bridge and get over it, right? So but really finding a win-win instead of
Yes.
this adversarial us against them. Well, they're the company and we all win.
Yeah.
If the company is doing well, we win. And
Yes.
if we do everything in our power to make a difference, I think you're taking on a huge undertaking, and bucking the system. Is tricky. So good for you.
Thank you.
Wish you best of success, because it's time for change. That I feel like this competition era is over. I believe we're in a collaboration era. How can you help me, I help you. There's 8 billion people in this world. We're not going to run out of people to serve. You know, let's take care of each other, and
Yes.
find a way to just love the person right in front of you, which is my message, right? Love the person right in front of you, so that you can, what if that's the main purpose of our lives, is to
Yeah.
make a difference in the person right here, and the checkout line, or whatever. So
I
that
know. I'm
that's
a firm believer, and since I started this journey, I worked for a very long time with the company, and I've been awarded the, like you said, I've been awarded the Champions Award and the Chairman's Award, which is like the equivalent of Flight Attendant of the Year with American. And it's because I care for human beings, and I know. And if people ask me, "Do you ever have passengers go crazy on your flight?" I'm like, "No, I don't." You know why? Because I look people in the eye and I smile, and I send that energy to them, like, I'm here for you, because like I said to you, I'm you, and I'm a mirror, right? You're looking in the mirror. Everything you feel about people is a perception of it's who you are. So if you feel like people are here to get you, it's because you are out there to get them. So look inward and see what you can do to change that. Where is that coming from? Let's heal that part of you, because that's not how it is anymore. We are all in this together. We're all particles of God. We're all here for the same reason, to go through life and through this journey, to have this experience in the human body. Our divine souls have the experience in the human body. So why going through trying to compete? Why not just go through and try to serve?
So one of the things I used to do as a flight, it's like people would, you get some grumpy old guy wouldn't want to do whatever he's going to do. And I was like, hey, look, I have a 17-year-old at home. I came to work to get away from people like you, so sit down and shut up. Or a little bit of humor, inappropriate
Yes,
cases, and
yeah,
then they'll kind of laugh at themselves, and or look, and honestly, this is something I observed. I was a commuter. I watched a lot of flight attendants as well as worked with the many. And there's two types of service people. One is um, how can I make a difference? The empathizer, right? The other
mhm,
one is the enforcer. And I'm the only power I have over my life right now is over you. And you can watch the line. If you're in the line at the ticket counter, right? You're like, not that one, please. You're always, so you can
yeah,
feel their energy, and they've got this, this little arrogant, and they don't love themselves enough to love other people. That's what I call bullies. They just don't, people don't love themselves enough to make a difference to the next person, and without some reward or payment or something. Anyway, so I just noticed, I don't know that I've ever really put that out publicly, but the enforcer and the encourager, the empathizer, are the two types of service people that.
yeah.
And then I would watch some flight attendant come along and go, put your seatbelt on or put your seat up. I was like, really? Why do we have to be rude and ugly?
Yeah,
These are human beings. Every one of us trying to get through life as best as we can.
yes,
I would say there was so few incidents that escalated, any further than.
yeah.
So that I feel like
Yeah,
that
too. It's
because
like,
you have that mission. These people are human beings that we're all in this little metal tube being shaken around up in the sky. We need to we we're going to be together for a few minutes, so take care of each other.
I know, exactly. I know, I feel the same way. I joke with people, I always go, when they're they have little things going on, and like they go, I can't believe American did this. And I said, I know, I understand. I let them know, I validate their feelings because I do understand, it's not right. But I said, but I want you to understand that is not me. I didn't do that to you. I personally didn't come to work to make your life horrible. I came here to make it better. So let's talk. You don't have to raise your voice. It's like, but mostly it's because people are upset with something that happens. Their flight got canceled and they're delayed, or they took them out of business, put them in coach. I get all that. But in the grand scheme of things, like that heated the moment. And most of the time people calm down and then like they'll apologize later on. I'm sorry I talked to you like that. I said, I get it. Thank you for
Wait,
apologizing. But it's like, but it's just, and I have lost a couple times with people myself. And then of course I don't anymore because I feel horrible when I snap at people, and there's like, they're going at you and you're like, you're like, no, 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 no. So now when they're coming in, they're really upset. I start taking deep breaths. I start thinking like, no, it's not me. It's not for, he's just upset. Let's just have compassion. And it works. I talk to myself a lot to bring myself down.
don't take things personally. It's not about you. And so really that's that this is a huge piece, and it's who you are. So it's all leading here now to where your whole message is, taking your life into your own hands. We've got everything inside of us to be all we're called and led to be. Every single solitary thing is inside of us already, and your coaching and your book helps guide people through that, towards that, right? So towards that inner knowing and being peace, and you can be at peace with your wherever you are in utter chaos, in war zones. You can have a complete peace because where we are is all we have. I mean, if we're
And
here,
and
it's
the moment we are in now is all we have. And
all
I
we
think
got.
I tell my clients, anxiety comes from the worries about the future. the future doesn't belong to you. Tomorrow we can all be dead. I mean, unfortunately or fortunately, I don't know. The world could end. So why are you worried about something you have no idea it's going to happen? Most likely you'll be here and everything is just going to be hunky-dory, but let's just think about today, because today is a gift. Today is the day, is all you have. So let's make the best of it. And I know it sounds so cliche, but it's like, it really is. And the analogy I use with my clients is like, when you're riding a horse, you hold the reins, the horse's life, you're you in control of your life. Do you have the reins, or are you letting that horse run out of control? You have the reins, hold the reins, because the horse, when you hold the rein of the horse, you're telling him, I got you. You're letting him know that you're not pulling on it super hard. You're just giving him enough context that you're letting him know, I got you. I'm your leader. You are the lead. You got to be in the pilot seat, right? If your flight is in, you got to be in the pilot seat and not in the passenger seat of your life. And that is it. It's with everything in life, with your emotions, with your children. I mean, you are the person that your kids are looking up to you, so everything that you're presenting to them is what they think is right, because you are the person that gave them life, that's supporting them, that giving them everything. So it's like, it's all, be the example that people need to see on you. Even if you cannot do more than that, if you cannot be the union president, or you cannot do all these things, be the example of what
of kindness, just kindness, and know that everybody's doing all they know to do in that moment right now. And I'll have another saying, and the harder people are to love, the more they need it, right? So often they don't love themselves enough to know how, or to feel the confidence of keeping a level.
90% of people don't love themselves, don't know self-love, don't know how to love themselves. And that's why coaching is such a thing now, because people need guidance for even simple things. Sometimes things will be right in front of you. I've been working with my coach for 4 years. Things would be right in front of me, and she would be like, see right there. I'm like, sometimes you need that guidance, just like we need the guidance from our parents. We need the support of our spouse, whatever, our friends. We need someone to talk to, right? To talk about our issues. So guidance is really important, getting guidance from the right people, and understanding that there's always a better way to go about in life. So self-love and self-awareness, I think, is what people are missing in the world, because when you're aware of yourself, then you're aware of other people.
And recognizing that it's just not all about us. The 4 Agreements is the book I recommend the most, more than anything. And it's basically, don't take things, be impeccable with your word. Imagine that if everybody did that. And don't take things personally is such a huge message, that because it's not about you. The third one is always, don't make assumptions. And we are always assuming that other people, that they cut us off on purpose. And, I started saying, and they just need to go to the bathroom more than we did, or something, just make it, and send blessings. And may you be blessed, may you be blessed, may you be blessed. A master is one who blesses, says Matt Kahn. And then the 4th agreement is always do your best. I mean, how can you go wrong with those 4 agreements? And with the book is called The 4 Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz.
Yeah, I read that book a couple times. I love the book. I recommend it to my clients because it's an awesome book, and it's such an easy book to read, and fast. But did you ever heard of the Course of Miracles?
I did. And then and the Power of Now, and my bookshelf is.
They all say the same. They basically say the same thing, right? They all have these contents because it's what's been around for thousands of years. Lao Tzu talk about all this stuff. So that knowledge, and that's what I always tell people, I'm not teaching you anything new. I'm sharing with you the knowledge that I acquired.
Helping you remember who you are. Helping you remember who
Exactly.
you are is the big piece of all this.
Yes.
So you have a good quote you like, is the spark begins from within. So
Mhm.
everything, we've already got it. We've already talked about it, but that's a good, like, a snippet, right? The
Yes.
spark, everything starts from within. So your website. So we want to find, we're winding down a little bit. So we want to find out how people find you, and spell your name Karina, Karina, and your last name is Cury, but Karina.live, right? Or live, whatever.
Life, Life. Karina.life is my website. And you can,
Live.
no, I'm sorry, if I send that to you, I misspell. It's Life.
Okay.
Life. Karina.life.
Life.
Vida.
Nice.
Karina.
Viva. Viva. Love it.
So, and you can book a free call to see if we're good, if you're thinking about anything in life, right? I feel like we all need guidance. If you're going through relationship issues, work issues, purpose issues, you don't know your purpose, your mission, your kids. If you need guidance with anything, like I said, I'm not going to teach you anything new. I'm just going to guide you to find that knowledge within you, because you carry that. Sometimes we just need a little guidance to see what's right in front of us. So, it's a 30-minute free call, and then we can discuss if it's a good fit for us to work together. But, I love life coaching. It's like almost like I get them when I see my clients progressing. It's a high for me. I love it. You get to the point of your life I've called the second mountain. It's actually, there's a book called The Second Mountain, but the first mountain of your life, you're worried about making money and raising kids and all this stuff. And then you get to the second mountain of your life where you realize, yeah, raising kids was great, but making money was great. But now it's like, what am I going to do with them? Which mountain I'm going to climb? And you realize the serving humankind is really what it's all about, because you're serving others, you're serving yourself, right? Because we're all one. So by serving you, I'm serving myself. I'm creating a better world for all of us. And when you have children, you do want to leave a legacy of kindness and love, because you want your children to have that. You don't want them to go to the hardships you had to go through. You want them to have a better world. So I think that's all about, and it makes you feel like you understand the creator of life. You understand why we're here.
Yes, to make a difference, really. I mean, that bottom line is to make a difference and to serve. So we are, if you're a flight attendant, you're in the service industry, you're servers, those, like I said, how can I make a difference for you is my, it's my ongoing thought. I mean, I'm not, what's in it for me? I don't even have that, that there's a lot of, I think Zig Ziglar even said, everybody's got the sign, what's in it for me? And I just don't seem to have that. I want to, how can I make a difference for you? And it probably to a fault in a way, you got to take care of yourself too. So I've really I feel like I've learned to balance a lot of that, but you've gotten, so we've talked about flight attendant, we talked about Brazil, we've talked about, and the move to Texas, and I'm grateful that you're close by. We're both in Fort Worth area. So it's very cool. And
we need to do that lunch we keep talking about.
I know. And I mean, I saw that you're going hunting trips, and I just asked you about that before the show. So it was, I mean, that's like, she's obviously, if you see this beautiful Karina Cury on the show, I mean, on any picture of her, she is stunning, like just a beautiful model. And she rides these horses dressed in the fox hunting outfits, or whatever what's that called, that outfit?
Yeah, it's the original sport's called fox hunting, and then you're originated in England. I can't remember if it was the British Commonwealth, and they would chase the fox away because there were pests, right? The chickens and stuff like that. So they would chase them with the hounds. And so now everybody knows this about me. I'm an animal activist. I would not hunt anything. So animal lover, but we do go on these hunts where we chase the scent of a coyote. And the hounds are they get the scent, they chase that, they go through trees and fences and ravines and rivers. And so the horse is chasing these animals 9 miles an hour, wide open, jumping fences. It's like, if you see it, you're like, oh my gosh, those people are crazy, but it's so much fun. And I love my horse and she loves it. It's hilarious. They get over there and they just like, oh yeah, the hounds, we get to hunt. And you dress in we call our formal attire, which is riding breeches, the riding boots, the jackets, the wool jacket, because you only do it when it's cold, because it's too hard on the hounds. The hounds can't do it when it's hot. So you only do it in the winter, so it's cold. Of course, our protective gear, hats, gloves, but everybody's in the same color, dress alike, same style saddles, and then we just go for it, and it's super fun. And you have to keep your horse active, so I ride a lot to keep her fit, because they're like basically you can't ask them to run like that if you're not keeping up with their aerobics and all that. So you have to ride a lot. So it's just all about keeping up with your horse fitness and then going for it. And it's super fun. And it's mostly women, and such a great connection to make with these women that share the love of horses. And we talk
nature. You're talking nature. I mean, you're out in the elements, and so that's very cool. So if somebody wants something to learn more about that, where do you go so that they can?
So the hunt that I am part of is great. I love Susan Gentry is the woman who her dad started 50 years ago. They just turning 50 years, this hunt. And it's like a big one in this area. It's in Celeste, Texas. Cloudline Hounds. Go to cloudlinehounds.com or look for them, Susan Gentry or Cloudline, CLOUDLINE, Cloudline Hounds, and look for them. And we love newcomers. We love people. We have horses for lease. It is amazing. You would love it. And if you love it and you want to go and try and you don't have the clothes, reach out to me. I have plenty extras. Love to show you around. It's super fun.
Oh, it sounds fun.
For all levels too. You can, like, if you're just a beginner rider, there's levels. You don't have to do all the jumps. You can go a little slower. So there's all kinds of levels of riding, and we love newcomers. So.
Well, you have multifaceted is the word. I started out with you. I mean, there is so many pieces. So is there something that you really want the world to know? You want to know, or something that people don't know about you that you would really like the world to know? What is your most pressing call to action or message that you
well, I want
to leave with?
People see me as this horse rider and flight attendant and mother and all this multifaceted, right? And they think, wow, she has her life together. She's perfect. I want you to know that I have days where I feel like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? We all have those days, and it's okay. It's okay. So don't feel like what you're seeing right now. It comes with, I put, and I don't want to discourage anybody, but I put work into it. It's start daily with words of affirmation, with gratitude to the universe, with meditation. So it's not something that you achieve out of nothing. I would say stay away from crutches. If you're drinking alcohol, if you're taking medication, if you're doing drugs because you want numb feelings, that's not the way to go. There is other ways. I know, because I've been there, I've been where, and that's not the way to go. And the universe, creator, source, whatever you want to call, wants the best for you, wants you to be happy. It is your birthright to be abundant, to be happy, to be joyful. And so the universe wants all that for you. So put the action in, right? We talk about action. So the universe is not going to give you something if you're not taking action. So you got to do your part, and then it will do it. So you can pray all day long to God or whatever you want to pray to, but if you're not doing your part, it's not going to happen, because that is the law of the universe. So put your part in, start working at it, And I promise your life will get better. And there's a lot of people like me who are out there to help. And I do a lot of pro bono work. Don't let the exchange of the money stop you. There's people who want to help. There's people that can help you, and so look for it. And because there is a life full of joy for you. It is your birthright. You came here for that. You are a divine soul, and that's what you're here for.
I love that. And it's so true. We've just, I actually went through that moment of time when I got on some Zoloft or something decades ago. And I was this, like, I don't think it was a psychiatrist. Maybe I did. I don't know. But I'm like, he's like, no, actually, I don't think you're insane or have, mental issues. You're just you just are not being fulfilled, in your purpose or whatever. And I took it very briefly, and I'm like, why am I taking this stuff? It makes me feel weird. And so I don't, like I told you before the show, I don't think I have 0 prescriptions in my, I just don't do it. I don't believe, because of belief, and it's not arrogance. I don't really believe in getting sick, so I so rarely do. And it's just, I don't have time to think about getting sick. So I just don't. And it's not arrogance, it's authority, right?
Yeah.
We have the authority to, Jesus said, to do what he did and even more. That's a lot.
Yeah.
So, so there we go. I have so enjoyed our time together, Karina. I love you and what you're doing, and you're called, and your strength of character, and it's so evidence that, the confidence that you have, and knowing that life is not perfect around us. I'm kind of surrounded by chaos most of my time, but I think people would not think that about me, right?
Yeah.
Right. So,
Yeah.
I think people would go, oh, she got it together or something. I'm like, they just don't know.
Yeah.
But regardless, we've got, you and I are very similar as far as, reach out. If somebody has something that you just feel like you need to a shift in your mindset, it's all mindset. You're good at it. I'm good at it. We will work with you and work together and figure it out. So Karina.life is her website, www.karina.life, Karina.life. And this is the most wonderful time of year. We're here in the end. And if you don't know where you're headed next year, let's get started on getting a new wave of energy and belief of that you are perfect exactly who and where you are, because it's all you have right now. So just might as well love it. And as I always, thank you so much for being with me today. I always just love to end with that basically I say you're perfect exactly who and where you are right now.
Yes.
And
everything that's happening to you
you are loved.
Yes.
And God, if God is love, he can't be not loved. So you are loved regardless. And it's time to receive it. It's just time to understand that that's the truth and receive it. So thank you so much, Karina. And I'm just going to say, as I always do, always, always, always choose joy.
Parting is such sweet sorrow. The Charla Anderson Show. Encouraging you to stand strong and courageous with bold faith, no fear, immense hope, kindness, and love, especially towards yourself. Visit charlaanderson.com for replays, blogs, and more on her ever-expanding website, as well as watch her live TV show on winwinwomen.tv, Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. And so that we can continue learning together and growing this community of beautiful souls, we invite you to share the Charla Anderson Show with your circle of friends. Until we meet again next week, Remember always, choose joy.